In studio today we have Nick. He's an author, a futurist, and works with freelancer.com. And Nick, you are just as passionate about technology as I am, I would say.
True.
And you have done a lot of work in the area of privacy. And over the years, a lot of people are concerned about how much of their information is collected on Facebook and Google and all of the sites around the web. You actually seem to have kind of a positive view about how this is all going to play out, though. What is that?
It kind of starts in a slightly strange and negative place and ends up in a positive sort of a view.
Like every good story.
Indeed. You know, if you go back to 10, 15 years ago and I was to tell you that a company would collect all of your data, but not only that, you would voluntarily add more and more data into that, pictures, locations, information about your family and your relationships, and that they would actually then undertake psychological research using you and selling that data, you'd probably think I was kind of crazy, but we actually find in the world that that's what over 1 billion people do on Facebook every day. So we're actually in a pretty strange, dark place right now because we don't actually own the data that we're putting out into the world, or certainly the majority of it. I actually think there's a positive side of this, and it's going to take a lot of change by the companies and a lot of empowerment of the individual to take back that data, to make the choices to come off of platforms and to only use platforms where the relationship is about you retaining that data, i.e. by not giving it to anyone or making it available, or that lets you actually monetize that for your own good and be in control of that in the future. So
would you say then that people need to be a lot more educated in the sense of how much data they're giving away, and that there will be opportunities for them in the future to essentially say, you know what, I'm aware of what you're taking from me, I'm aware that that is valuable and that it's something that you need to respect, that I will give to you when I choose to give it to you. Is that kind of the scenario that you're painting? Yeah,
I mean, right now you kind of have to choose to drop off, right, and disappear. I left Facebook. I left Facebook 2 months ago. In terms of taking back that power, you kind of have to go back to the old way of working. You know, private email using more secure services like Hushmail. Private networks, keeping control. Because right now, the world and the companies, even governments, aren't being very responsible with the data that we have. Government's a lot more than private companies, but working with private companies that let you maintain that ownership is going to be important. I actually think we're going to end up in a world full of data brokerages.
Are you thinking that it's going to be a separate company that you choose to give your information to, and then they basically release it to other companies based on what your permission settings are? Like, is it an online interface, or how do you see that playing out?
It could be that. It's more likely going to be something that you control yourself that's part of a hive mind. So, Bitcoin actually works on an idea of, everyone's sort of in control of their encryption key and their packets, and it's a distributed system of information. I think it's going to be something very similar to that. And you can actually only people that have got, the partner keys can get access to your data. I think these kinds of ways of doing encryption and security, as well as, being data brokerages, are going to be the way forward as well.
Now, what advice would you give everyday people about protecting their data, or something that they need to consider as they're going out there in their day-to-day business, using Facebook, using Google, and all these different sites?
Yeah. Only put out there something that you're willing to be sold. And that's kind of scary. I use an example like this. Say you've got a 2-year-old daughter. Take a picture of your 2-year-old daughter, open an email, new email tab, put a picture of your daughter in it, put her name, her location, the relationship to the parents, maybe some other, sundry information about, some of her friends, then email 400 people. And, probably 75% of those people you don't even know that well. Would you do it?
Don't ask me, because I'm really liberal with this stuff.
But the thing is, it kind of makes you feel a little bit tense inside if you actually think about something as emotional and special to you as a picture of, say, a daughter. And suddenly, you could end up with over 300 people that you don't really know actually then doing whatever the hell
with
they
that
like.
information.
Yeah, so that's what I say. It's like, if it feels wrong, it's probably wrong. If you feel that you're oversharing...
Is it sad that I'm like, no, let's share it, she's beautiful?
you know, I used to work in social media a lot and whatever, and this was like the lifeblood as it is for many brands and agencies in the advertising industry. But I think we all owe it to ourselves to hold quite a lot back and only really share with the people that we want to see the information that we put out there.
Okay, so I think that brings up a really good point. We'd love to hear what you think. Comment on this video online and let us know whether or not you would be willing to share your information, your daughter's picture in an email, and what you're doing in order to protect yourself.